You've learned what IAM users, groups, roles, and policies are, but knowing the components isn't enough. The exam will test you on how to use them securely. Miss these best practices and you will lose easy points. In this video, we're covering IAM best practices, the rules that AWS expects every solutions architect to follow. We're talking least privilege, temporary credentials MFA, IAM Access Analyzer, and more. These best practices show up in nearly every security question on the SAA C03. And if you want to study this in text format, check out the free guide at preparato.com. Links in the description. Here's what we'll cover. First, a deep dive into least privilege, then temporary versus long-term credentials, federation and identity center, MFA requirements, IAM Access Analyzer, permissions boundaries, and finally, exam scenarios to tie it all together. We touched on least privilege in the last video, but now let's go deep. Least privilege means granting only the minimum permissions required to perform a task, not roughly close enough, the exact minimum. Why does this matter so much? 4 reasons. First, it reduces the blast radius. If credentials are compromised, the damage is limited to only what those credentials could access. Second, it simplifies auditing. When permissions are tight, it's much easier to understand who can do what. Third, it improves compliance. Regulatory frameworks like SOC 2, HIPAA, and PCI DSS all require least privilege. Fourth, it enables accountability. Clear, specific permissions mean clear ownership. Here's how to implement least privilege in practice. Step 1. Start with an empty policy. Deny everything by default. Step 2. Add permissions based on actual requirements, not assumptions. Step 3. Use IAM Access Analyzer to identify unused permissions. Step 4. Regularly review and remove access that's no longer needed. Let me show you what this looks like. Here's a common starting point. Action S3 star, resource star. This gives full access to every S3 bucket in your account. After analysis, you refine it to the specific actions needed. S3, get object, S3, put object, S3 list bucket. On specific bucket RNNs, with a condition restricting it to a specific region. Same job gets done, massively less risk. Exam tip? When a question asks for the most secure approach, look for the answer with the most specific actions, the most specific resources, and conditions. That's least privilege in action. One of the biggest shifts in AWS security thinking is moving from long-term credentials to temporary credentials. Let's compare them. Temporary credentials are the preferred approach. They expire automatically after a set time, anywhere from 15 minutes to 12 hours. AWS handles rotation for you. They can never be embedded in code because they change constantly. And they're provided through IAM roles and the Security Token Service, or STS. Long-term credentials are access keys that never expire unless you manually rotate them. Console passwords fall in this category too. They require a manual rotation process. And here's the real danger. They can be leaked in source code, log files, or configuration files. Let's put them side by side. Expiration? Temporary credentials expire automatically. Long-term? Never, unless you do it yourself. Rotation? Automatic versus manual. Storage risk? Temporary credentials are never stored. Long-term credentials can end up anywhere. Security level? High versus lower. The bottom line? Use temporary credentials whenever possible. This means IAM roles for AWS workloads and federation for human users. Only use long-term credentials when there's no alternative, and if you must, rotate them regularly. For human users accessing AWS, the best practice is not to create individual IAM users. Instead, use IAM Identity Center, which was previously called AWS SSO. IAM Identity Center gives you 3 major advantages. Centralized access across multiple AWS accounts from a single portal. Integration with corporate identity providers like Okta, Azure AD, or Active Directory. And temporary credentials are provided automatically. No access keys to manage. Compare that to creating individual IAM users for each person. That approach is hard to manage at scale. It means long-term credentials everywhere. And there's no centralized visibility across accounts. For workloads, the story is similar. EC2 instances, Lambda functions, and ECS tasks should all use IAM roles. AWS delivers temporary credentials automatically. For workloads running outside of AWS, use IAM roles anywhere with X509 certificates. For Kubernetes, use OIDC Federation. For enterprise applications, use SAML Federation. Exam tip. When a question says employees need AWS access using corporate credentials, the answer is federation through IAM Identity Center, or SAML. Never create IAM users for each employee. Multi-factor authentication, or MFA, adds a second layer of verification beyond just a password. For the exam, you need to know when MFA is required and how to enforce it. Here's the MFA priority list. The root account is the highest priority. Always enable MFA with a hardware device or passkey. Admin users need MFA for both console and API access. Power users should have MFA required for sensitive operations. And read-only users, MFA is recommended even there. Here's how you enforce MFA with a policy. The first statement allows all actions, but only when MFA is present. See the condition? The second statement allows basic actions like viewing the password policy without MFA, so users can still set up their MFA device. The magic condition key is AWS multi-factor auth present set to true. You can combine this with other conditions too: source IP restrictions, region limits, and secure transport requirements. Layering these conditions is what AWS calls defense in depth. IAM Access Analyzer is the tool AWS built specifically to help you implement least privilege. It does three important things. First, Policy Generation Access Analyzer looks at your CloudTrail logs to see what API actions were actually used. Then it generates a least privilege policy based on real access patterns. No more guessing what permissions your application needs. Second, Access Analysis. It identifies resources that are shared with external entities. It detects public access to S3 buckets, KMS keys, and other resources. And it continuously monitors for permission changes. Third, Policy Validation. It validates your policy grammar and syntax. It checks against over 100 security best practices. And it gives you actionable recommendations to fix issues. Exam tip. When a question mentions unused permissions or audit reveals excessive access, the answer is often IAM Access Analyzer. It's the tool that bridges the gap between the permissions you granted and the permissions actually used. Permissions boundaries are an advanced IAM feature that sets the maximum permissions an identity can have. Think of it as a ceiling on what's possible. Here's the key concept. The effective permissions are the intersection of the identity-based policy and the permissions boundary. If your policy says allow S3 in DynamoDB, but your boundary only allows S3, you only get S3. The most common exam scenario for boundaries is delegation. Say you want developers to create their own IAM roles for Lambda functions, but you don't want them creating admin-level roles. You set a permissions boundary that limits what those created roles can do. The developer can create roles freely, but none of those roles can exceed the boundary. Here's what a permissions boundary looks like. It allows S3, DynamoDB, Lambda, and CloudWatch logs, but it explicitly denies any IAM or organization's changes. Even if someone attaches an admin policy to a role with this boundary, those IAM and organization's actions are blocked. Let's work through the exam scenarios you're most likely to see. Scenario 1. A company wants to grant AWS access to employees using their existing corporate credentials. Solution: use IAM Identity Center with SAML Federation. This gives centralized management, temporary credentials, and eliminates the need to create IAM users. The key phrase to watch for is corporate credentials or existing identity provider. Scenario 2. A developer needs to create IAM roles for Lambda functions, but the security team wants to prevent privilege escalation. Solution: grant the developer IAM. Create role permission but attach a permissions boundary. The developer can create roles, but those roles can never exceed the boundary's limits. Scenario 3. An audit reveals that IAM policies have many unused permissions. Solution: use IAM Access Analyzer to analyze CloudTrail logs and generate least privilege policies based on actual usage. Replace the existing overly broad policies with the refined versions. Scenario 4. An external vendor needs temporary access to an S3 bucket. Solution: create a cross-account role with a time-limited trust policy. The vendor assumes the role to get temporary access. When the engagement ends, remove the trust relationship. Access is instantly revoked. Scenario 5. Prevent any IAM user from accessing production resources without MFA. Solution: add an MFA condition to all production resource policies. Use AWS multi-factor auth present as a condition key. No MFA, no access, even with valid credentials. Let's rapid fire through some key exam points. First step in implementing least privilege. Answer: start with 0 permissions and add only what's needed. Which tool generates policies from actual usage? Answer: IAM Access Analyzer. Preferred credential type for EC2 workloads? Answer: temporary credentials via IAM roles. How to give employees AWS access using corporate credentials? Answer: IAM Identity Center with Federation. How to let developers create roles safely? Answer: permissions boundaries. What condition enforces MFA? Answer: AWS multi-factor auth present equals true. How often should you review IAM access? Answer: quarterly plus after organizational changes. Permissions, boundary grants permissions? True or false? Answer: false. It only limits them. Let's recap the IAM best practices every solutions architect needs to know. Apply least privilege everywhere. Start with 0 and add only what's required. Use temporary credentials. IAM roles for workloads, federation for humans. Require MFA, especially for root, admin users, and sensitive operations. Use IAM Access Analyzer. Let it generate policies from actual usage. Set permissions, boundaries. Delegate safely without risking privilege escalation. Review access regularly. Quarterly reviews plus after every organizational change. In the next video, we'll cover multi-factor authentication in detail, the different MFA device types, how to enforce MFA with policies, and the exam scenarios you need to know. If you're studying for the SAA C03, check out our free study guide at preparato.com. It's got diagrams, detailed explanations, and practice exams that match the real exam format. Practice tests are the fastest way to find your weak spots. Link is in the description. If this helped you understand IAM best practices, hit that like button and subscribe for more SAA C03 content. Drop a comment if you have questions, and I'll see you in the next one.